Wow, we're doing really great. I see 42 are in. Fantastic job. And I know that you guys met with your math teachers today, so you guys are already ahead of the curve a little bit as far as being savvy with how to work in teams and how to participate in these meetings. So I'm going to go ahead and start the meeting. I know some people may be joining us, and if your connectivity gets a little wonky, just do your best. So thank you very much for being open to working on Teams and doing your very best with our online learning at home. As you've probably heard from your parents and from some of the emails from Mr. Fitzpatrick, I mean, these are times that none of us have ever lived through. And so we are all new at trying to figure out what we do for the next 6 weeks to stay productive and keep our brains engaged in learning, but also to make sure that we're feeling comfortable and safe and supported, especially those of you that don't have a lot of siblings, and so you're going maybe a little stir crazy without the contact with people from school. So hopefully with these meetings, we'll be able to feel connected with each other, learning from each other. And so I've done a couple of different things to hopefully make our learning interesting. And so I've had to throw out some of the stuff that I wanted to do and to start some different things with you. So that said, I'm going to start, even though this is a social studies meeting, I want to start talking about language arts since we don't officially meet until tomorrow. In our last exciting episode at school, we had finished watching Remember the Titans, and you guys were preparing to write your paper for Roll of Thunder, Hear My Cry, and Remember the Titans. And most of you, I was able to see your compare paragraph that you did, and I just kind of checked it in that you had done that paragraph. For the grading in Teams, basically what I did was open up your Word document, and then if it looked fine, it looked like you followed directions, and I just kind of scanned through them really quickly yesterday, then you have a 10 out of 10, and I didn't even bother putting that onto your paper. But if I saw that maybe you forgot to double space or you didn't follow the format for how to do the title of the book underlined and the title of the movie in italics, then I probably took a point off or 2 points off depending on what I saw. It's really important that your work gets saved into the proper place. And so in a minute, what I'll do is share my screen and show you some of the assignments that I've created that may make that a little bit easier. And I've had to, as you guys can see, merge the classes together. So both 6A and 6B are together for language arts and social studies, which makes for a lot of us to navigate all this information. Because the intention with the paper assignment was for us to meet at school and do peer editing together and then go and do the next paragraph and then peer edit it and the next paragraph and so on. And there's just no way for us to do that very efficiently online. I've decided to drop the rest of the paper assignment altogether. So basically you've done a compare paragraph. Some of you went ahead and did a contrast paragraph, which is great. But basically I'm dropping the rest of the assignment and we're going to move on and do some different things. And I'll show you those just right now because I'm going to work on sharing my screen. Let's see. This is where I'm trying to figure out how to do this the best way. Okay. So can you guys see this? Maybe one of you unmute yourself and tell me if you're seeing what I'm sharing.
We can see it. I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the first thing is, I'm hoping that you guys all have your silent reading books, and I do want you to keep reading. I'm going to talk to Mr. Glosser about how best to have you turn in book reports, but for now, in our language arts online learning class materials folder, I've put in the typing template. So please do keep reading your silent reading books and then typing them in there, and then we'll figure out about how to turn those in the best way. So hold on that one. So working on that. But the other cool thing Let's see where I have it. Let me see if I can find it again. Thought I had them all uploaded. No. Book report, China. Oh, here we go. Found it. Can you guys see this? One of you unmute and tell me if you can see the 6th grade writing journals.
Yep.
No. Yeah.
No.
Yes.
No.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yes. Yes.
I can see your screen, but not the. Oh yeah, now I can see it. Yes.
Okay. So
I can
6th
see
grade
it.
writing journals, I just posted this as an assignment in language arts, and it should have dumped into your to-do list as of 11:30. So you know how we have our free write journals, and those are all sitting on the shelf at school. I thought it would be really interesting for us each to keep a daily journal while we are in these kind of new waters, trying to navigate our way through the fact that we're kind of socially isolated from each other, from school, even from extended family. So for the 6th grade writing journals, the document you guys can open up and read on your own. But basically, what I want you to do is start keeping a daily journal. And in the daily journal, I want you to put the date down and then just write for 10 minutes, just like we do in free write. So again, don't worry about your sentence structure. Don't worry about your spelling. Just do your very best to write down kind of what are you feeling? What are you doing? Like yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, so I was bopping back and forth between making my corned beef and cabbage for my family, but then also trying to work in teams and figure out, how to set up all my online assignments and things like that. So it was a interesting St. Patrick's Day for the family. Like we ended the night like playing games together, and it was super fun, and watching a movie together. And so I want you to just keep track of what you guys are doing each day in a journal. You'll start it on loose leaf paper, or if you have an extra spiral at home, you can use that. And then if your parent is able to come to school next week, Mr. Fitz is sending an email to parents letting them know 2 days next week that the school will be open. And basically your parents will be able to come in and get anything that you've forgotten. So I know, for example, somebody said that they don't have their reader's notebook. No big deal. We probably won't need it until next week as I start doing some more lessons in journeys. Excuse me, and I'll get through that with you tomorrow a little bit more. So you'll see this come up as an assignment, and so basically you'll be doing these journals every day on your own, and tomorrow I'll go into more detail about it for language arts. I'm going to move over to social studies now, and hopefully on the screen you should be seeing the main idea notes, ancient China. This should look really familiar to you. Yes? And if most of you got these downloaded into, excuse me, most of you have these notes downloaded and saved into Teams, but some of you did not follow the format carefully. So what I would like you to do is make sure that you're following the format and double check your notes. And if there's anything that you need to change, feel free to do that in your saved document in Teams. All I did was check off that I saw everybody's, but I'm not going to give it. I see a whole bunch of conversation going on. So what's happening here? So you guys are not seeing what was on my screen? Somebody unmute yourself and tell me.
No, we
We're not
can't see what's on your
seeing
screen,
it.
Mrs. Patterson.
It says
Seeing a white
great content.
Okay, that's not what I want.
We're seeing a white.
Yeah, it's like a whiteboard.
Okay.
Yeah, and it has
How about,
pens.
tell me if you, how about now? Can you see this?
I can see that.
Yeah.
The main idea notes,
See it.
ancient China?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, no, we do.
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
Sorry about that.
Yes.
No, I
So-
can't see it.
You're lagging.
Okay, guys, in order to fix the problem where you can't see anything, click on the 3 dots that says more actions, and it should say turn on incoming video on the bottom.
Yeah, because I'm not doing the whiteboard thing, so I'm going to close that. Trying to close that.
Also,
Thanks,
if
Ben.
you can only see Mrs. Patterson, try clicking on her and then the screen will come up.
I can see it now.
Okay, so I'm not sure why it's going to whiteboard. Okay, well let me try this another way. Let's try going over to Teams.
Earlier, Mr. Glasser had a problem with the whiteboard, so maybe you could
Okay.
help him with that.
I know nothing about the whiteboard, but let's go over to Teams. Tell me if you're seeing my screen now where you can see all my teams.
Yep.
No, I can't. I just see.
I see the main
I
idea
see the
chat
main idea
notes.
notes.
I still see the main idea notes.
I still
Okay,
see
maybe
the-
there might be
I
a little
think
bit of
it's
a
just
lag.
like delayed,
Oh.
like way delayed.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I still see
Well,
the
yeah,
main
that might
ideas
be
right
it.
now.
It depends
it
on
might
where you are
change.
right now and the bandwidth between you and Mrs. Patterson. That'll probably cause the lag between the videos.
Oh, the
I see whiteboard now.
I just see a whiteboard, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really far away from it.
I
Stop screaming into the mic.
Yeah, I always see whiteboards. And it's showing up on my computer.
On my computer,
Is it supposed to be like
Are you
random
drawing?
lines and scribble?
Yeah, that's what I see. I just see random lines.
Yeah, same.
It's really glitchy though.
I only see
Okay,
black.
let me
Yeah, it is.
turn off the sharing.
I don't see any.
Super far.
Yeah,
Trying
I
to turn off
don't
the sharing.
see
I just see
mine
it.
or something.
It's like glitchy though.
I just see
Yeah.
clicked it.
Yeah, I just show whiteboard.
I don't see anything.
I just see white.
Okay, now
I see your
I see errors.
initials now.
I see it.
No, it says error. Wait, now it's the whiteboard again.
Yeah.
Guys,
now
it's the whiteboard. It's the whiteboard.
Yeah, it's a whiteboard.
Guys, you should be able to see hi on the whiteboard. If you can see hi, you're on the right screen.
Well, but you guys shouldn't be, if you guys do all that, that's going to mess us up because 46 of you and one of me. So I think I stopped sharing my screen, so we should be back to you just seeing me and then seeing each other.
I see the whiteboard.
No, I see a whiteboard because it's very, very
I
laggy.
just see each other.
I see a whiteboard, Mrs. You
I see
drawing.
each other
Okay.
and you.
So, hey, you guys, can you hear my voice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you guys
Yes.
just listen to instructions because we only have a little bit of time before we need to be done. So I've stopped sharing the screen, but I think that Microsoft Teams might be getting just a little bit bombarded with all of our online learning that we're trying to do. So let me just walk you through a couple of things that you want to check. You want to check your Teams every day, and the calendar is the easiest place for you to look and see, oh, do I have a meeting coming up? So for example, tomorrow, there's going to be 2 meetings for us. You'll have a religion meeting with your religion teacher at 11:30, and then you'll have a language arts meeting with me starting at 12:15. So you have like a 15-minute break to go run and get water or use the restroom or whatever between a religion meeting with your homeroom teacher, so Mr. Glasser if you're in 6A, and then me if you're in 6B. And then at 12:15, all 46 of you are together with me again to talk about language arts. So today I just want to go a little bit in general about what you should be doing on Teams. So you had some online lessons that were assigned last week that should be saved in our old like language arts 6B, language arts 6A, social studies 6A, social studies 6B. Your work should be saved in there. What I was saying earlier is if you need to make any tweaks to the social studies lesson 9 main idea notes, please do that in the next day or so. So look at the document because several of you I noticed like you weren't following format of like putting part A and the title and the page numbers, and then check and see do you have the correct amount of paragraphs of main idea notes. And some of yours, if someone's loading up a whiteboard, if you guys could make sure that you don't do that.
Yeah, because I have like on my screen, I still see whiteboard.
Yeah,
And your
I want that
face.
to be away.
Yeah, it's on my screen.
I
So
don't know.
somebody's putting it on there because
Like,
I'm
so-
not.
Somebody's like drawing stuff on there.
So you guys, you
Go
have
to
to
the-
turn off the whiteboard.
And then turn off incoming video so you don't see it anymore.
So I'm keeping my
whenever-
camera on and my microphone on for
Whenever-
you guys.
Okay,
Whatever's
so guys,
on
if you're on the
my-
whiteboard, if you can see the whiteboard, go down to the bottom right corner next to, I don't know, someone's name. You should see Miss Patterson's face. Click on it, and then it'll pull it up, and you should see 3 other icons. Then you'll be on the right page.
Or you can just press the 3 dots and turn off incoming video, and then you won't see the whiteboard.
I did that, but I did the turn off incoming video. It just turned off Miss Patterson's face, not the whiteboard.
It just frees the whiteboard for me.
Okay, well, let's continue on with the lesson so we can just talk a little bit more about what you should be doing. So step 1 for social studies is to double check your lesson 9 main idea notes and make sure that you followed all the formatting. So some of you did not. I didn't write it down because I simply didn't have time. Just opening up all 46 documents and checking that everybody's was there is pretty time consuming, like 2 hours yesterday. So it's up to you to make sure that you are putting it there in the proper place. And then from now on, the rest of the assignments that I'm going to give you are going to be in your the new language arts. So the one that is, the one that is 6th grade. Ugh, I don't know who keeps doing the whiteboard, if that's me, but the 6th grade. What do we title ours? 6th grade language arts online learning and 6th grade social studies online learning. So those were the 2 where you're going to be saving things. And you should by now see in the post that there is an assignment. So in language arts, there's an assignment called 6th grade writing journals. And in social studies, there should have been an assignment that came on. China lesson 9 quick check questions. So just like we did in class with the chapter 8 or lesson 8 main idea notes, and then I had you try to answer the 3 quick check questions from the lesson just using your main idea notes. You're going to do that same thing. So you'll take your typed main idea notes, and then you're going to open up the assignment that I have assigned to you, and you're basically just going to answer the 3 quick check questions, and that will post in the assignments tab on Teams. So that's new, and you want to make sure that you find it there under assignments and then you post it there in assignments. And that's the part that I can't remember because it's been a couple of years since I did this one, of how you make sure that you save it as you. Keep in mind that in that assignments, I'm going to see 46 different documents from you. So the more streamlined you can make it as far as making sure it has your name, your number, and what assignment it is, the easier it will be for me to grade. So that will be your social studies one. It's just a really quick assignment, shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes, but we'll just be practicing with posting some of these things, and that is your social studies assignment. The language arts assignment is going to be your doing your writing journal for now, and then I'll be adding some more assignments in journeys because there's a really cool story that goes with our China lesson in social studies. So I'm going to try to do some combined lessons between language arts and social studies where we're studying the same thing but coming at it from a different angle. And then I have a friend that teaches at St. Luke's in Seattle, and she teaches 4th grade, so I was talking about language arts and how to keep your guys' grammar and writing skills sharp. So she turned me onto a website that I'm going to check out and maybe assign you some fun things to do there. That'll be more games that you can play. So for my lessons, from time to time, there'll be things that you're reading, you'll be typing and posting your answers, or other times that I might say, oh, go onto my website and for 30 minutes, you know, when your parents aren't busy on the computer, play some geography games to work on your skills in geography, or go to this website and do some language arts games to work on your grammar skills or your writing skills or spelling skills. So we're, as teachers, just really trying to figure this out and make things as meaningful as possible for you. All right, so now I am open to questions for you. So if you can just either type a question for me, or if you want to unmute yourself one at a time to say, this is what's hard for me.
Where do we put the lesson 9, like the check under, I mean, not the check understandings, the quick checks? Just on the
second. It should be under the assignments page, and that's because I haven't done it for a couple of years. I can't remember exactly how that will work, but basically you'll see the assignment, open it up, and tomorrow when we meet again, you can let me know, because I tried to make the due dates flexible. So I said, okay, it's due tomorrow, but really not due till Friday, so that tomorrow when we meet again, those of you that have had good luck with what you're doing, you can go, oh, this is how I did it, and we'll get the steps down a little more streamlined for everybody.
So we'll just see it under assignments?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you should see it now. So if you want to click off of, I mean, don't leave the meeting, but you can just click over to your Teams on the left side of your screen. And then if you go to, so we're right now with our 6th grade social studies, if you go to assignments, and it may take a minute, and you should see China lesson 9 quick check questions. And then on my view, I see 0 of 46 turned in, and they're due tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So I've made a due date of 3 o'clock tomorrow just to make sure you don't get behind, but then I've opened it up to another 24 hours just in case you have connectivity problems or other things, like I know your parents have to use the computer too.
Could we turn it in today, though?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's a due date, but you can do it as soon as you want to, but please read and follow all the directions for things that I'm giving you.
So we type it and put it in the folder?
Yeah. So
Okay.
It's like if you just open up the document, oh, this is so cool. And so I just open it up and I can see that like Andy has already viewed it. Jane has already viewed it. So a bunch of you, I can see that you have looked at it. That's fantastic. And then you guys will have to figure out how to turn it in and then tell me how you did it so that we can make sure my directions are clear.
I have a little thing to say. So,
Sure.
For the notebook, we can turn it in like how we usually do in a file or there. But I had this earlier with Mr. Glasser's math, and he asked me, I guess, he's like, do you know how, well, he didn't ask me personally, but he kind of asked everyone.
Uh-huh.
Do you guys know how to put stuff from loose leaf onto computer? And I typed in the chat, and I know he did not see it. I said this: we can always scan it. So if like people can't like actually get online, then you can always write it down and then kind of scan it on a scanner or your printer, and then transfer it.
I know some people won't have that option, you know, at their houses. So it just depends. Like I had, I think Isabella, are you on?
I don't think she is.
Is Isabella on? Her mom like. Hello. Her mom took a picture of like her Venn diagram and her religion work that she'd done for 6B religion and sent it to me by email. But if everybody sends stuff by email, it will be really hard for me to check it all in. So that's why I'm trying to make sure things are created on Teams and that you turn it in Teams. So Marcella, if you're asking about the language arts journal, that you're going to be keeping on your own. And so that'll be kind of a honor system that you are doing your journaling every day. But I may come up with an assignment where I pair you up and I say, okay, plan a time that you and another 6th grade student are going to have a video chat or, you know, talk on the phone and share, you know, 1 or 2 of your journal entries about things that are going on.
It legit sounds fun.
Yeah.
So we just keep a hard journal.
What if we get paired up with someone that we don't want to, like, you know?
Well, yeah, I'm just still thinking through things, Marcella. So it's just, believe me, I have a hard time going to sleep at night because my wheels are like, okay, how am I going to do this and how am I going to do that? So all these things that I can usually do in person with you, it's a little challenging to figure out how to make it work.
How'd you get my voice mixed up with Robbie's?
Oh, was that Robbie that said that?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. Well, because you were talking last, so.
No.
Oh, Robbie's the ghost. There you are, Robbie.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, what
It's
other
a symbol of a dead soul.
What other?
It's kind of true.
You guys let Mrs. Patterson talk.
And write our own.
Wait a minute. So someone was just asking a question, but I couldn't hear you. So Finn or who was asking?
Oh,
So do we?
I think
do we-
me. Wait.
Oh.
Let me just interject here that the best thing that you guys can do is read through all the directions and then maybe do a chat with me or other students in Teams to say, oh, I can't figure out how to turn it in. Like I see Alina said there's a turn in button at the bottom or turn in button for turning in your work.
Sometimes what works is you save it and then you turn it in like after and then you check if you had like completed the assignment in the assignments and it just goes as completed. That's what I did. Or that's what I did for math.
Say that one more time for us.
So when you're going here, let's go. So when you're in the assignments and you have completed the assignment, you just save it and then you'll close that, and then you'll just click the turn in button, and it will say your assignment has been turned in, and then you can check in grades and it will say your assignment has been turned in, blah 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 blah.
Okay, cool.
Do you also have
And so
How
you
does-
guys, let me just say too that I've made the template for you. So all you have to do is open up the template, and I can't remember if you have to save it or not under your name. And basically you just type your answers in there. And then for journal entries, if you can go back and do journal entries from Monday, like what you remember doing Monday, that's fine. Otherwise, just start today. Like I said, you're going to start on loose leaf, or if you've got a spare spiral at home, do it there. And then once you guys have your free write journals from school, if a parent can pick it up, just like you remember how if you guys forget your spiral and you're like, oh no, I forgot my spiral. And so you do it on loose leaf and then you cut it out and paste it in. That's what you can do for this, keeping the journal that you have, is you can tape it in there. Now, if your parents are not going to come to school at all, then you just keep doing it on loose leaf or in a spiral.